What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Alright guys, in honor of Min dropping on the limited banner, I'm going to give you guys a showcase, an updated showcase, because I did one during early access and things have obviously changed. Text, the way he plays, what he does, etc. Right? So we didn't know much about him back in the day. Well, we did, but we didn't utilize him to his full potential. So I'm going to do a full breakdown for you guys with the brand new text, tell you guys what he's all about, how to use him properly, and then we'll do a little bit of gameplay as a support unit as well as a normal hunter unit, so you guys get a full feel for what he is capable of, and that is quite a bit. So there he is. There's our boy. So I'm gonna actually give him a little bit more love here. Let's just rank him up a little bit and just give you guys the full deets on what you want to do and how you want to use this man. So I got an A5 version of him on my main account. I'm gonna talk about free-to-play versions of him as well too, just so you guys understand where to go. So let's talk about that first. What is the maximum amount of dupe that you really need to maximize him as a free-to-play player? A1. A1 is perfect. You don't need to go any further than A1. And the reason why A1 is so good is if you look at his skills, A1 actually gives all allies critical hit rate and critical hit damage by 12%. This used to actually be applied only for light units, and other units would only get 8%. They've actually increased this and made it much better. So A1 is exactly where you want to go. So that's where you want to stop as free to play. Everything else above this is going to be pay to win, especially A5. If you are pay to win, A5 is beautiful. It does incredible things for you as a hunter, but you don't need it as a free to play player. Okay, so speaking of which, let's talk a little bit about his artifacts. Which ones you want to use and why. So this is his best artifact right now, hands down, is going to be the Destroyer set. Number one, because you start off with his ultimate. Number two, he gives people more power gauge, and along with his skills, it stacks, so you even do more power gauge increase for him and for the rest of your team. And then also another decent one, if you run him with Jinnu in a raid, would be the Holy set, which gives him more HP and also provides your team with a lot more attack power and reduces his attack, because you're not really using it for attack whatsoever, right? And in regards to his accessories, his best ones are the Aquamarine set, because when you tag out, he'll give everybody the attack power they need to boost their damage. Now remember, all of these artifact sets are in my artifact tier list for every character. You can go check that out at any time and get a better look and feel for every character that's out there. All right, now let's talk about his skills. Now this is actually, no, before we do that, let's talk about his weapon. His weapon is the following: increases his HP by 2.5%, and then when the user does Heavenly Blessing, which is his ultimate, the user team also increases their damage dealt by 4% for 16 seconds. So he already increases damage dealt or damage boost. This is now going to increase damage dealt as well too, giving you extra damage, which is exactly what he's all about. All right, let's talk a little bit about his skills. So Judgment of Light, basic attack, does light damage, nothing special there. This one here is actually pretty good. When disguised, the user does 50% more damage, but Holy Mace also is a core damage, obviously. And the way core attack work, guys, a lot of you guys don't understand, I've already done a video on it, is when you actually do your basic attacks or skills, your core damage bar increases, which is your standard attack bar, and then when you do enough of them, it'll transform into this core attack, and this is the skill that you'll use instead. Now remember, everything is based off of HP for him, so you only want to build him HP based with a little bit of crit damage, and we'll talk more about that after. Okay, so here's his basic skill. So the first one here is recovers HP for the opponents, knocks the opponent down, and also Les Light's Glimmer. So this is where he gives everybody HP based off his max HP, so 0.5%. And then if you have Disguised on, the recovery rate is increased to 1% instead. Okay, so you get a little bit higher with Disguised. Now the way Disguised work is every time he comes into the battle, tagging out, tagging in, he instantly gets his Disguise. You'll notice that he has like a silhouette around him, like an aura almost. And he's a little bit more transparent. Okay, so you'll know the disguise is there, and you'll see the buff, the disguise buff on him at all times almost. All right, Conviction of Light. This is the more important one here. So whenever this skill hits, it will do punishment. Now, when you're under disguise, the punishment effect becomes 15%. When you're not in disguise, it becomes 5%. So you always want to do this when you're in disguise. This is the skill you always want to start with, by the way. Before you tag him out, make sure the skill hits. You'll see this debuff right there on the opponent, which will give you guys the 15% more damage if you're in disguise mode. If you're not in disguise mode, you only get the 5%. Okay, remember that. Now, his actual support is incredible here. So not only does he apply Glimmer's Light, which gives you more HP recovery, and he does knockdown, but he also does the punishment, right? So here you'll recover Jinnu's HP, based on Min's max HP, which is great. And then also here you'll increase the damage taken by 15% on the opponent. Disguise is obviously not needed for this because it's a support skill. All right, we'll show you guys that very soon. All right, now this is his QTE comes in, and this is the incredible part with this QTE. It actually fills the power gauge by 50%. So it's important actually to bring him in as a QTE unit, not just tagging him in at any time, because you want to have that extra 50% power gauge increase instantly. All right, and here's Heavenly Blessing. This is his ultimate. Okay, so it's not, again, he's not there for damage. So whenever you do this, especially when you're disguised, he'll do the following things. The user damage dealt and critical hit rate is increased by 12%. Remember, if you have his weapon, add an extra 4% to the damage dealt part, so it's 16 and 12. And then here, if you're disguised, the user's critical hit damage increases equal to 40% of the amount that exceeds his basic critical hit damage. His basic critical hit damage is 50%, so anything that's above that, 40% of that extra bonus goes towards your team as critical hit damage. So that's how that works. Now, speaking of skills with him, there's a couple of unique things that Min obviously does, but also a couple of things you want to know about Min's skills. So you don't actually really need to level up his skills at all, unless you really are min-maxing his damage, or if you're looking to push past the red point and you want to get him a little bit more CP, like combat power obviously, then you can go ahead and level up. But keep one thing in mind. The leveling up of all skills does not actually increase the effects of the skill itself. You guys can see here, the effects are not being increased at all, right? Still 15%, still 5%, etc. What is increasing though, of course, is the damage. You guys can see to level 6, you go 333 to 425. Again, it's not substantial, it's still there. It will increase the power, again, to push you a little bit further in the red, past the red zone sometimes. But one thing to note is the MP consumption does also increase when you go up there, okay? So at the end of the day, it's really, in my opinion, not worth leveling up any of his skills. The only one that here that I got leveled up is this one here, because once you hit A5 with a unit, you instantly get level 11 automatically. Okay, just so you guys are aware, that's how that works for QTE, or sorry, for us, for support. So you don't really need to level up any of his actual skills. Again, unless you are min-maxing, you're looking to get a little bit further in the CP portion, or if you need a little more damage. But when it comes down to actual effects, they're not required. So with that being said, guys, I leave it all level 1. Use my scrolls elsewhere when it's more important. So let's actually jump into gameplay and see what he's all about. I'm going to show you guys him as a support unit, and then I'll show you guys him as a hunter and how the difference is when he's on the field. So first off, let's go ahead and use Battlefield Trials. We'll do a player version of it. We'll go to like our usual level 25. Our poor bear usually gets abused here, but we're going to show you guys Min and how he functions as a support. So we're going to go ahead and add him in there. We're going to jump in, and I'm going to take a few hits. We're going to take a few hits here, and we're going to show you guys how much HP recovery is done, or how much HP recovery you get from Min when you're hurt, and also how much he applies the punishment and how punishment works. Okay, so first off, we'll do just basic attacks here. All right, let's show you guys some basic attacks. Oh, why do I have Vulcan's Rage on? What a weird weapon to use. Okay, oh, it's probably because I'm doing Lycans. You guys can see here a couple of hits, 14 something, right? For the most part, let's take a few hits ourselves. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in shortly. Now watch my HP. Okay, you see the right there. It instantly, first off, hit him. Look at my HP go up, and now look, my damage is now going up as well too. I was doing about 14, now I'm doing about 16, right? So one thing to note, see 14 to 16. So you can see that 15%, and that punishment stays for 20 seconds. So it's actually a pretty hefty amount of damage that you get on there. Look at damage. And look, I'm already almost back at full health, so that's the beauty of it too. So yeah, very, very powerful support. One of the best in the game, hands down. You guys see I'm doing 14, 14, 14. There's a 16 there. But if you do punishment again, right? Watch. Everything will just go up again. Right there, 17, 18, 17, 18, 17, 18, etc. Right, 17. Right, so you guys can see right away, and look, my HP is back to full. So one of the best support in the game by far. Okay, so there's a support version of that. Now let's show you guys an actual hunter version combat with him and how you want to actually utilize him. Now there's a couple different ways to play him. You always want to play him as a support, obviously. You're never going to use him as a DPS, but there's a couple different methods that you want to bring him in and take him out, and it depends on the fight itself. If you're trying to clear things quickly, like let's say Battle of Time, for example, you don't want to tag in and tag out for the most part. QTE in, you want to just tag out as quick as possible, right? So let's go ahead and use a couple different units here. So we'll put in Min first, we'll put in Cha, and for the sake of it, let's put in Alicia. Okay, let's put in the Payne's Angels and Min, right? So like we have to call it. So right away he has Destroyer set on. So that instantly is going to give him his ultimate maxed out. Or sorry, halfway, not maxed out, sorry, halfway. So watch what happens here, right? I'm just going to use him for a couple seconds. See, he's in disguise. See the transparency I was talking about? That's the aura I was referring to. Watch, he does this. Now look, punishment's on there and it's at 15%. Now look, he's going to give everybody 20% more because of his skills. Now you guys, or because of the destroyer set. See how fast you built that up? Now watch this. I'm gonna bring Alicia in. I'm gonna dodge here. I'm gonna bring Min back in. Now watch the QTE. Look at his bar back to 100%. Okay, his limit bar is back to 100% because when he QTEs in, he gives everybody 50% more power, right? Or more power gauge. Sorry. So now look at hers. She's also full, right? So when you QTE in with him, the beauty of having him there is he instantly gives everybody that 50% more power gauge. Now watch what happens when I put him in second place real quick, all right? Let's go back. That was first place. So first place, you want to usually have him in the first slot is if you're doing disguised and if you want to do punishment to finish things quickly. But if you're doing, let's just go, if you're using him in a normal mode, you normally want to put him second. So you go, let's just say put Cha in there first, then put him in second. Now watch what happens. I'm gonna QTE in, and then watch his power gauge just instantly go to 100%. Watch this. Because you guys saw it at 50%, right? When he was first place. Now watch what happens when he goes in second place. Okay, let's go ahead. We'll do a quick dodge here. And we'll QTE. Oh, that wasn't a good dodge. Okay, let's do it again. There, watch. See that? Look, right at 100%. Amazing. It's amazing. Now this buff here obviously is going to give Alicia now more crit damage as well. Now look at hers. Her bar is almost already at 75% just from having him do that QTE. Look at hers is almost 75% as well. So it's extremely powerful, guys. That one QTE skill is so damn strong. It instantly boosts everybody back up to where they need to be, and you can just spam ultimates almost every time as long as the cooldown is there. So sometimes it's like 12 million damage, right? So insane. Not only that, but he also gave everybody his extra crit damage as well too, so boosting their crit damage. So the moment she did that crit with that ultimate in place, it was game over. So there you guys go. That's what makes Min so damn powerful, guys. The ultimate buffer in the game. Amazing debuffer as well too with that punishment. You don't want to skip on him if you have a chance to get him. All right, guys, this is Payne. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.